Okay, the first thing we're going to do for my Tuscan salad is we're going to juice 4 lemons. So what I do is I cut them in half. I have a nice juicer, as you can see. You take them and you juice them as such. We're going to go just like this. I'll take the parts that we don't need, we'll set them to the side. Go to the next one just like this. And I'm going to carry on, continue on like this until they're all juiced. Okay. Alright, I'm boiling 3 eggs, and what I do is I boil them, put them in the water, and I start boiling them, and approximately 7 minutes after I will take them off. It's not quite ready yet, but when that is done, then what I do is I'm going to take them and cool them, peel them, and take the egg whites off. That's going to be one of the last things that I do to the Tuscan salad. After finishing the last lemon, of course, we're going to take that, take the top off, and we're going to pour the juice of the 4 lemons into a container that's large enough for that. I like to use this pot. It seems to do very well. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of coconut sugar. You can use regular sugar. This adds a little sweetness and offsets the acidity of the lemon, and also helps it stay fresh in the refrigerator. My wife and I usually make this up, and it lasts for a good week. So after dissolving your coconut sugar, regular sugar, and the lemon juice, we're going to start adding our spices. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. We're going to add that in there. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of roasted garlic and herb. It has a wonderful flavor. We'll add that. We're going to take 1 tablespoon of this salt-free garlic and herb. It has a different taste than the roasted. I like to add that. And then we're going to take 1 teaspoon of Sicilian. If you like yours spicier, you may add more, but me, I like to add 1 teaspoon. We're going to take that, and we're going to go ahead and get all that mixed up, and we're going to get ready for our next process, which is chopping and adding our vegetables. See you in a minute. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is put our veggies in there. I know this may sound like a crazy tip, but make sure you take this off when you're doing this. It's no good to have a piece of tag in your Tuscan chicken salad, so I'll make sure I remove that and any traces of it and get that out of the way. So we're going to take our time to get this out of here real quick and cut that off like that. Next thing we're going to do is going to core it. So what I do is I take the tip of my knife. You can use a smaller one if you want to. I prefer using larger knives. I will take it and cut it around like that. I'll take it in the inside like that. Insert that. I'm going to take it from there. And if you can tell where the ribs are or the veins are, I like to cut around them. I don't like that bitter taste in there. I prefer using the yellow, orange, and red. The green has a bitter flavor to me, and I don't prefer it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these ribs out like this. We're going to throw those right away to have a nice clean surface, and that way we can take this, and if you take it in smaller pieces like this with a knife, we set it over to the side. I have a chopper right here. This is for people that want to hurry up. I prefer to cut mine myself and chop it, but this is for someone that maybe not have the patience or is in a hurry. And what you'll do is take this, make sure it fits it. I need to cut a little bit more of mine off like that in order for it to fit. We're going to take this in here like this, and you're just going to do this. And what you're going to have is some nice pieces. You take that, and then we're going to add that into that. So that's the process that you need to do in order to get your bell peppers ready. Okay, for those of you that don't have a chopper, don't prefer to use one, I'm going to show you the proper way to use it. In this recipe, we're going to use 1/2 of each one of these peppers. Okay, I've already showed you how to decore it, devein it to make sure it's nice and clean, all the whites off of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slice it. And when we get to this point, it should be all together and lined up. Make sure when you're cutting that you have a nice sharp knife. I have Wurst-Off, which are pretty good knives. Tuck your hands underneath so you do not cut yourself. Okay, nothing worse than cutting yourself. And you're going to make some nice, small dice pound. This way, people aren't having big chunks of bell pepper in their mouth, and it has a really nice texture, and the flavor will be good too. And you're just going to continue on like this till you have it all done like so. And then you'll pile that up and go ahead and continue on and get the rest of them done. And then what we'll do is we're going to take that and put it into our mixture, and we'll finish that up in just a moment. Okay, I'm finishing up cutting and dicing nice and small my orange bell pepper along with my red and yellow. I prefer these colors. The orange is a little sweeter than the yellow. The red for the color. I am not a green bell pepper fan, as I told you. It's up to you what you want, but half of each one of the peppers, as I showed you. We're going to take this and we're going to add this to our mixture that we have with our lemon juice, spices, coconut sugar, or regular sugar. And we'll add that all in here and get that nice and mixed up, and then we'll let that sit, and then we're going to go on to the next step, which is going to be adding the olives and the artichokes. So I'll be right back with you. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my black and my green olives in. I want to tell you something. This particular brand of olive does not have a lot of brine in it. It's not hard, it's very soft. It is my preference. Use whichever one you want, but what I do is I use a half a can apiece. I put the juice inside of another container, separating them, and put the other half in there so you can store it for later so you're not wasting anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green ones first, of course, and I'm just going to lay them out like this. And again, I like to slice mine. I like that whole texture thing. If you don't want to take the time to do it, get a chopper and just simply do like this, just a little bit, and until you get to the way you want it and however small you want it, and then you can put it in there. And so, but I prefer to do mine in slicing, and again, tucking my fingers in at the very tip and just barely slicing them like this, and that's how I like to do mine. And as you can tell, that's what we're going to do. So I would do all of the green, and then of course I would take some of the black as well, and I'll just take one here just to show you. And same thing, slowly taking your fingers in, making sure you do not cut yourself, and then you go. And that is how we're going to do it. And then afterward, we're going to take those and add it to our rest of our mixture. All right, we're going to go on to the artichokes now. I told you earlier how to slice it. I've been using a knife for quite some time. As you can tell how I hold it, this is the proper way to hold it so you don't cut yourself. When you get better like me, you pretty much do like that, and as you can tell, make slices and put it in a pile. And the way I stir my chicken salad is going to be with a fork, and the rest of this will break up. So you just take it like this, and you're holding your hand back, making sure still having your fingers tucked, and as you can tell, it comes right apart like that. So that's the other way. All right. Okay, I've got my black and my green olives ready to put in here. Before that, I'm going to take 1/3 of a cup of this Annie's Naturals Tuscan Italian. It's your choice, but I like this. Adds a little more moisture to it. Once you add the chicken, the other thing is just going to need to have that. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to add that in there with my other stuff. Tap that in real quick, set to the side, stir that up, get it nice and mixed. As you can see, everything's marinating very nicely in here. I'm going to add my 1/2 cup of capers. I prefer the smaller ones. If you like big ones, that's your choice. I like these. So I'm going to add those in there as well. I'm going to stir that around and set that right there. Okay. Of course, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my olives to this mixture and get those in there as well. Just take your time. Some of those may roll off for a little bit, but that's okay. We'll catch them on the side. And now we have that. Set that in here. And go ahead and mix that up. You see we have a nice little blended mixture going so far. Alright, now got that in. Now we're going to go ahead and drain our artichoke hearts, and we'll get to that in just a second. So I'll be right back. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is add my artichoke hearts. I've tried different kinds in the past while developing this recipe. I've tried grilled, marinated. After adding the things I do, I've gone away and just added the smaller kind. I like the 10 to 12 extra small size, and the reason I do is they seem to be softer. When you're cutting the artichoke, sometimes you'll get some that are a little tougher, and that's no fun to try to chew on, so that's what I'm going to show you. Hopefully all of these will be tender, but you never know. Alright, so as you can see here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to just slice it like this. Again, tucking your fingers, making sure you don't cut yourself. See how nice and soft that is? Makes these nice little ringlets like this, and you're going to do it again. We'll take it, put our fingers, take the end, and continue to slice. See how nice that works. So far I don't have any tough ones, which is kind of nice. if I did have a tough one, let me just show you here. We'll check this one, see how this one's going to be. If not, I'll go ahead and demonstrate it. Okay, this is a soft one. But if this was a tough one, what you would do is you would take this sideways. You would make sure that you took the outer portion out like this, the part, and when it became softer, then you knew that you got to the inside. Sometimes the larger ones tend to do that. That's why I like the smaller ones, because you have less of that tough fiber, and it's a lot better. Alright, so I'm going to get these done and then put those in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've taken my artichoke hearts and cut them to nice ringlets. Again, I prefer the smaller ones, and I'll tell you why. Normally, if I buy the larger ones and cut them, I have a lot of fiber and end up going through several of them that aren't any good. I did not have as many. Out of all of these, I had 3 with the outside, which is amazing. So again, try to get the 10 to 12 counts. The best thing to do. So again, that's 2 cans of artichoke hearts, and we're going to take that and we're going to slip this right on in here with our rest of our mixture in here, as you can see. And we're going to take our time. Don't make too much of a mess. I'm kind of a messy cook, but that's okay. We're going to lay that in there, set this to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and stir that up as well. Again, I'm using my fork right now. The reason is I like to get all those pieces of olive broken up in there, nice slices, and these ringlets. And a little bit later when I stir it, you'll notice I'll go to a different stirring tool, because I want to change the way I do it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this, make sure it's nice and stirred up like this. You saw it's a beautiful color, all the different things that we've put in there. We're going to let all this nice and meld together on these wonderful juices that we have got developing, and we're going to sit and put this top on and let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour in the refrigerator, and I'll be back in a moment to tell you what we're going to do after that. Alright, the salad and everything that's been marinating, all the vegetables, all the stuff, and the lemon juice, the coconut sugar and everything, look how beautiful that looks. We're now at the portion that's marinated for 30 minutes to an hour. Once this is done, we're going to start adding the chicken. Now, you can either add 2 pounds of deboned roasted chicken, descanned of course, or you can take 2 13-ounce cans of chicken breast and drain it and put it in here. So what we have here is 26 ounces of white chicken breast, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to shred it with my hands like this. I do not like chunks. It makes it, the texture, the flavor, everything seems to do well. And what we're going to do is we're going to allow this to sit and marinate for another 30 minutes or so, so the juices will be absorbed into the chicken breast and it will add flavor before we add the rest of what we need to add. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do that, and I will get back with you in a moment. Okay, now we're going to make the mayonnaise for our Tuscan chicken salad. If you've never had homemade mayonnaise, you are in for a treat. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1 yolk separated. Then we're going to add a whole egg into it as well. I'm going to set that aside in our fancy cup. And then we're going to blend this for 1 minute. Okay, we have blended that for the minute. We're going to take this off, set it to the side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of minced garlic, a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of some excellent Dijon mustard from Dijon, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and the juice of a half of a lemon. And we're going to blend that for another 2 to 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and add that. Fingers, make sure we get every bit of that in there. Put our hands off. Back on. And let's go ahead and pulse that, or just blend that for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Here we go. And the last step is to add my 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil into this. And the most important part of this is to stream it in slowly, because in order for it to emulsify and have that beautiful creamy mayonnaise that you're really going to like, that's what you need to do so it won't separate. So we're going to do this very slowly and go from there. So hopefully we'll do it the correct way. All right, here we go, guys. See how we did. Open this up. Beautiful. Let me get my spatula here, guys. Make sure that we get all this in here. Nice creaminess. Alright, let's look how we did. Look at that beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got a beautiful color to it. It's fantastic. Didn't separate. It's what we want. Let's try it out. I wanted to show you this beautiful cheese that we're going to put in here. So rosemary and olive oil infused Asiago Sartori. It's excellent. It's a beautiful cheese. It's imported from Italy. It's got a gorgeous look to it. It has rosemary in it. The smell is incredible. We're going to use this whole thing right here. And basically, we're looking at 5.3 ounces or 150 grams for you guys that are in Canada and Europe. Also, this beautiful green pesto cheese from Holland is just amazing. If you get to smell it, it's great. Take the outside edge of this off, this plastic part. We're going to take this part off here, and then we're going to grade this cheese, and we're going to be adding that. So I just wanted to show you this before I graded it, and so you knew what we're doing. All right.
Great.
All right, I got my cheeses done. My beautiful green pesto cheese from Holland. It's just gorgeous. And of course my rosemary and olive oil infused cheese. It's more of a Asiago. It's excellent. What we're going to do is we're going to add that into there. And as you can tell, I used about half of my pesto and 3/4 of my Asiago. I was going to use all of it, but I think I have enough here that I think I'm going to do well. So we're going to go ahead and add this into here, one at a time. I like to make sure it's mixed real well, so we're going to take this or spoon and go through here and make sure that's added. Everything's about adding layers of flavor, and that's what we're doing here with this. So now, go ahead and add the pesto cheese in here as well. Beautiful cheese, it's just amazing. Add that in there, and we're going to get that stirred up in there as well. Add some color to it. It's beautiful. All the colors of our bell peppers and everything else, the olives, it's just really coming together. Alright. Get this mixed up, and I'll be back in a moment, and we're going to be adding our homemade mayonnaise and our other ingredients. So, see you in a second. Alright, come to the last portion, or next to last portion. Everything mixed up, looks beautiful. The cheeses are all well blended. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of large heaping, maybe 3 or 4 teaspoons of this beautiful pesto. Has this beautiful Parmesan cheese. I like this brand. I can make my own, but during the winter you do not have the option of having the pesto, so this is what I'm going to do. So we're just going to go ahead and add that in here real quick. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to take that right there, and we're going to mix this all nice, and again we're adding moisture back into this. The cheese is going to make it a little drier, so that way we add moisture into it. So we're adding these layers of flavor, and also we're making sure that it's nice and moist and beautiful. Whoops, lost a little bit, didn't I? There we go. So we have that in there. That's real nice and mixed. And then we're going to go ahead and add the beautiful mayonnaise that we made, and it's going to just come out beautifully. So we're going to go ahead and add that as we go. Alright, as you can see, we have the beautiful homemade mayonnaise in there, and the pesto. It's nice and creamy, it looks beautiful. We're going to go to the last portion of the Tuscan salad. We're going to take the whites of 3 boiled eggs. As you can tell, I take the yolks out. I don't put them in there. We're going to take it like this. We're going to chop it this up. If you're a little slower, that's okay. I don't want to hurt your hands. As you can see, I have my hands tucked again. I'm holding it while doing it like this. We're going to do nice pieces like this. We'll continue on. Continue to do this. And place this inside our mixture. And we're going to fold it in. Let's get these all out of the way. And we're going to take this, holding your hand like this, just slowly move it around, get a nice texture. You don't have to be real good because it'll break up after a while. It's another reason why I don't like to put my egg whites in it to the last, is because I don't like them to get blended in too much. I like the texture in there. I like to have a little bit of it in there, and that's why I do that. So that should be good. We're going to go ahead and add that into there. It's like this. Take your time, make sure we don't try to make a mess. There you go. Perfect. Set this down. Get the rest of this off of that. Go ahead and set this on top here. And fold this in here nice and pretty. As you can tell, that way it'll get in there and you can still see the egg whites. Something about the color of it adds to the contrast. Alright, so we got that well blended in. Now I'm going to add white pepper. I prefer white pepper. Black pepper tends to not break down and gives you heartburn, believe it or not. So, if you haven't ever tried it, try white pepper from now on. We're going to go ahead and give it a few turns of the wheel. Set it down for a second. Stir it. And again, I said layers of flavor, so I'm going to make sure they're stirred in. And then we'll do this one more time. Like this. If you like more, you can add more. And stir this in. It's got a beautiful smell, aroma. Everything's looking really good, and I believe we have got it. Now, I will tell people that you can eat it right away. I like mine on a gluten-free Parmesan cracker. You can eat it in a croissant, whatever you choose. It'll be well in that. But I prefer to let it sit overnight because it really has a wonderful flavor to it, just like meatloaf and spaghetti sauce tends to be better. So, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that each and every one of you try it. And hopefully the next show that we do, we'll be working on how to prepare my lamb lollipops. Until then, see you later, guys.